Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to a music video. This is just a fun little video of some of the music I've picked up recently. Again, this is off message, it isn't films, but I just thought it would be interesting to just let you see what I've been picking up recently in the music world. And you'll see this is kind of almost split in perfect halves between Far East rock and metal, European rock and metal, and just for a bit of a difference, American rock and metal. So starting with Japan and Lonesome Blue and their album Second to None. This is another all-female Japanese rock or metal band. Now if you go into YouTube, you can go down a whole rabbit hole for hours. Some of the bands you'll like, some of the other bands you won't like. But the thing that's in common with these Japanese and Korean bands is the fact they all know how to play their instruments. It is just something about certainly Japanese culture that they take music lessons for kids very seriously. So a lot of the players in these bands are just ridiculously talented. Some of them sing in English, which isn't their first language obviously. Some of them sing in Japanese, and again, you might go through like 10 bands on YouTube and find a couple that you just instantly connect with, and the other 8 you don't kind of connect. But it's well worth spending 15 days of your life going down YouTube Japanese music rabbit holes. The next one is a band called Massive Hassle. This is their first album called Number One, strangely enough. And this is actually Bill Fisher. These are probably real photographs. This is Bill Fisher from Church of the Cosmic Skull, an English band who I just adore with a bit of 70s fuzz, and his brother. And as I said, these are probably accurate pictures of their childhood. And they kind of decided, let's make an album together, but we're going to record it live. We're going to record just the first takes, unless it's absolutely horrendous obviously. But there's no, Pro Tools, there's no 6 months of making the album. And the album is just fantastic. It has a lot of kind of Church of the Cosmic Skull feel to it, but the guitars are way fuzzier, so it really has a kind of doom stoner element. But there's, between the two brothers, the harmonies, they kind of start off really kind of light and soulful, and then generally some of the songs just have these big fat fuzzy guitars that just kick in, that are absolutely filthy but just wonderful. It'll put a smile on your face if you like that kind of thing. And it is just two brothers hanging out and singing wonderful songs like Fibber and Drifter and Drink and House and Lane. One word titles, but lots of wonderful guitar fuzz. And then we've got 2 albums from another all-female Japanese band. This is Nemophilia. This is Seize the Fate. from 2022, and Revive, this from 2021. So they're certainly not hanging about and spending 6 years between albums or anything like that. Again, it's another all-female band that you're either going to like or you're not going to like. Obviously I like them. And again, you get some bands that are a bit more poppy, you get some bands that are a bit heavier, you get some bands that are a mix of both. But these are very enjoyable as well. So that's Seize the Fate and Revive by Nemophilia. Or Nemophila even, not Philia. And then probably my second favourite Japanese band, behind Ninja Naizu, but they might actually be taking the number one spot. It's Love Bites, and this is the Knocking at Heaven's Gate live in Tokyo 2023, part 1 and part 2. So it's 4 CDs of live Love Bites. You do get piano solos as well. And again, this band is absolutely phenomenal. Especially the two guitar players. I mean, the two guitar players are absolutely fantastic. So Love Bites is kind of more of a kind of classical power metal band, but they're a bit maybe faster than traditional power metal, but they are a bit symphonic as well. But the two guitarists, Midori and Miyako, are both absolutely amazing. One of them, I mean, she can shred as well, but one of them's a bit more classical perhaps, and then the other one is just an amazing shredder, and they just go together very well. They are finally getting kind of more recognition outside of Japan, which is good. And again, there's no hint of pop sensibilities in Love Bites. It's fast and heavy. I mean, they do throw in some softer parts, but then usually take a right turn and then go for more slamming, ferocious power that almost gets to the levels of thrash a little bit. And then we go to Korea for Rolling Quartz, who, yes, again, an all-female band. This is actually a single, essentially, but they call them mini albums or single albums, but there's literally just 2 songs in this. But you do get wonderful little cards of each of the members of the band, and you get this wonderful digibook as well. But they have like 3 of these, but these are quite difficult to get. That is the downside of falling down those Japanese and Korean band rabbit holes. It's sometimes very difficult to actually get the stuff on physical media, and as you know, I like my physical media. Now, a band I've talked about before, but I just want to talk about them again. From Greece, the Villagers of Ioannina City. This is their phenomenal album, Age of Aquarius, which I actually put in my number 20 in my favourite 20 albums at the moment. It might actually go higher. I'm working on my favourite 100 albums, and my favourite 100 artists at the moment. And Villagers of Ioannina City are going to be right up there. I also got their Alive in Athens, which is about a 2-hour show from 2020 that you can actually pretty much see on YouTube in very high quality. It's over 2 hours, and it's absolutely phenomenal. 2 discs, 17 tracks. Because I can't get their debut album, on physical media. Hopefully one day. I did actually download it. I know it's terrible, and their 2-track EP, because that's phenomenal as well. So they are, again, kind of doom space, a little bit of stoner, but they use like clarinets, they use the Greek version of bagpipes, and it just adds another kind of spacey element to their music, and they are just so good. They're one of my favourite bands at the moment. It's awesome. Speaking of awesome, again, I'm not a big death metal hand, if you like. Again, I do love Vader, but again, to me, Vader are a little bit just heavier, faster thrash. Maybe that's what death is. But this is a band that was recommended to me from a friend. They're from Amsterdam, and they're a death metal band, but again, the vocals you can still kind of make out, so I'm not sure that counts as death properly. I did even get a couple of t-shirts. The band is Graceless. They only have 3 albums so far. They have the wonderful Chants from Purgatory, which opens with just the amazing Giants. I might actually have to try and get these in vinyl, because the cover art is quite wonderful. Again, they're from Amsterdam. The lead singer is a bit older, because apparently he's been in lots and lots of bands, but I haven't went down those rabbit holes yet. This is absolutely brilliant. And then you have Where Vultures Know Your Name, which is just spectacular as well. This one is a bit more deathy death metal, I guess. But titles like Retaliation of the Wicked and 9 Days of Mourning, and obviously Where Vultures Know Your Name is a rather nice track, as well as Embrace the Rain. Yeah, so I'd highly recommend Graceless. If you like death metal that's not completely illegible as far as the lyrics are concerned. And then we have Shadowlands, which I think is their most recent one, including the wonderful Slashed and Served and Heroin Filled Veins, and When the Last Light Fades. Yeah, I can't recommend Graceless enough. They're absolutely phenomenal. It's just pummeling riff after pummeling riff. Perfect for public transport. Just turn it up loud and annoy everybody. And then I'm a huge Mark Lanegan fan, but sadly, obviously, he's no longer with us. So I went back and picked up Screaming Trees Dust. Now, Screaming Trees were one of the Seattle bands of the 90s that were kind of forgotten about. But just to hear Mark Lanegan's voice on something new, and this album is actually very good. But they never quite made it. Now, if you believe Mark Lanegan's just absolutely haunting biography, Weep and Read Backwards, that might not even be the title, but it's one of the most harrowing books you'll ever read, about his survival guilt for all these people that died of drugs, but not him. And he does say that he absolutely hated being in Screaming Trees, and it wasn't really until he became a solo artist he really got his voice, because of the 2 brothers that are in the band, who certainly in the book are described in not too pleasant terms by Lanegan, because they never really took it that seriously, and maybe that's why they never kind of became huge, even though they are fairly large boys. But it's just great to hear Lanegan on other things. Again, I picked this up for like £2.50 or something, so I might actually pick up the rest of their albums. There's not a lot, just so I can be a Mark Lanegan completist, because again, Lanegan's one of those guys that did lots of side projects. I mean, he's worked with Isabel Campbell. He did 3 albums and an EP with her, which are all wonderful. yeah, so I might see if I can pick up more Screaming Trees, because again at the time they were kind of a band that never actually picked up or looked into. And then finally another band from America that's just amazing, and I can't believe I never actually got into them before. This is High on Fire. Granted, their name is a bit naff, but this is Matt Pike, the guitarist from Sleep. Again, I should probably pick up some Sleep, another band that I've kind of slept on, if you'll pardon the pun. This is Electric Messiah. So obviously Sleep are famous for big, long, slow songs, doom, and definitive stoner albums, because they were all stoned. But High on Fire is much faster, much more aggressive. Matt Pike wasn't the singer of Sleep, and he's not really a singer in the classical sense. He's a bit like Lemmy from Motorhead, but gruffer. So if you don't mind that kind of gruffness, then you should really check out High on Fire, because again, just riff after riff after riff, just absolutely fantastic. So this is 2018's Electric Messiah, which again is actually a kind of tribute to Lemmy. And then one that I just got, De Vermis Mysterious, or The Mysteries of the Worm, which is a series of stories written by Robert Bloch, who wrote Psycho. So this video is a bit film related, and it's kind of a bit Lovecraftian as well. And this is the version that has 4 bonus tracks, so you get 3 live tracks and the track Speak in Tongues. Again, just pummeling riff after pummeling pummeling riff after pummeling riff. Just great titles, wonderfully silly lyrics at times, but we don't mind that. So we've then got Blessed Black Days, Blessed Black Wings even. I'm not doing very well today. Again, another sludge fest, sludge doom, but again a bit faster than your typical doom. But don't worry, they do have like big heavy breakdowns. They are a trio, so if you've watched any of my other music videos, I do love a good power trio, and High on Fire are just lots of power. Then their second album, Surrounded by Thieves. You might not be able to see that very well with the glare, I apologise. Yeah, I think I've got 3 more of their albums. They started in 1998, their first album was 2000, so I've still got 3 to get. So they've done about 9 albums in 24 years, which is not too bad. And then this one's got a great title, is Death is This Communion. Which again is just more of the same, just brutal big fat riffs, and lots of them, and lots of gruff vocals. Absolutely fantastic. And then their new album, which there's actually a couple of videos for, and the production and the videos isn't that great. They're a bit naff, but the music is not naff. This is 2024's Cometh the Storm. And again, they're one of those bands that do that perfect kind of 8 to 11 tracks. So they don't have like 14 and 15 tracks on an album. It's that sweet spot of like 8 to 11. So there's not that much fat in their albums. And this is an absolute cracker. Lamb's Bread, Burning Down, Cometh the Storm, the title track's fantastic. So I haven't really had too much time as far as digesting them all. That's the problem with YouTube, when you find a band that you actually kind of fall in love with immediately. In this day and age, it's so easy to get like a whole bunch of their albums all at the same time, whereas if you grow up with a band, then obviously you have to wait a couple of years, or 13 years in the case of Tool, for the next album. Whereas if you find a band you found on YouTube, you can literally buy a whole pile of their albums at the one time. So sometimes the albums don't space out and become albums, it's just this massive chunk of high on fire goodness. Yeah. If you like stoner doom but a bit faster, with gruffer than Lemmy vocals and some wicked guitar solos by Matt Pike, I would highly recommend High on Fire, despite the not great name particularly. So thanks very much for watching. I know it's a fairly random video for a film channel, but please let me know what music you've recently bought or are currently listening to, because sometimes music tells us a lot about our psyche, the same way our favourite films tell us about our psyche. So thanks so much for watching. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying farewell.